Your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Good day, everyone. I'm Nestor Lecanto. Local authorities are preparing for what they believe will be an opioid overdose crisis. We'll have details coming up.
5 months leading GovGuam's largest agency, former Speaker Judy Wampat has been tapped as acting superintendent of GDOE until the man in charge relocates to the island. I'm Destiny Cruz, and I sat down with former Speaker Wampat as she discusses her plans to improve the public education system.
Protecting our coral reefs, the community can soon expect to see surveyors from the University of Guam going door to door, getting input from the public on this very topic. I'm Matsuki Hirayama with a report on how this effort works to improve coral reef conservation programs on the local, regional, and national level.
Good and good evening. I'm Nick Delgado. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. Local authorities are bracing for the arrival here of the deadly opioid crisis that has swept across the country the last few years. Legislation to make life-saving antidote drugs more readily available drew strong support at a public hearing today. Nestor Lecanto with the story.
The U.S. mainland is in the grips of an opioid crisis. An alarming number of people are addicted to these painkillers, and overdoses have soared by more than 30% over the past few years. Police Chief Steve Ignacio says it's no longer a threat to Guam, it's here.
We know of at least 2 cases on Guam of fentanyl overdose.
He says customs and federal agents have also confirmed multiple fentanyl seizures. What the bill by Speaker Therese Terlahi and Senator Chris Barnett would do is help first responders prevent deadly opioid overdoses through the use of antidote drugs known as naloxone or Narcan. Chief Ignacio says, ironically, they have the drugs on hand, but current law doesn't allow GPD to dispense them as they're controlled substances.
Unfortunately, when something as important as Narcan doesn't get into the hands of police officers and the police officers are exposed to or run into a case or called to a case of an opioid overdose, this life-saving sprays or opioid antagonists sit on a shelf and we can't disperse them.
Guam Memorial Hospital Legal Counsel Jeremiah Luther says similar laws have been passed in all 50 states, as statistics show that providing the antidote drugs to first responders to use saves lives.
There is some trepidation from healthcare professionals in GMH about placing a drug into the hands of non-trained individuals or individuals who don't have extensive medical training. And so I wanted to express that concern. And it should not be minimized that this is a pretty extreme step, but as I stated in my statement, this is necessary because the downside is that we have unnecessary deaths.
He agrees that all first responders should be immune from civil or criminal liability for dispensing the antidote drugs. All training would be provided by the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. Authorities believe it's not a question of if, but when the crisis bubbles up. And Attorney Luther says his home state of Tennessee is an example of a place that has been ravaged by opioid overdoses.
And this is a good step, a preventative measure, because like many other members here on the panel, I believe that the opioid crisis has not fully reached Guam, but it is inevitable.
Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Former Senator and longtime Zotnia Mayor Jose Pito Terlahi has passed. Terlahi served in the previous 2 legislative terms and was the chairman of the Public Safety Committee. He led Zotnia from 2001 to 2013. Pito, as he was known, also ran for lieutenant governor with the late Senator Angel Santos in 1998. Aside from politics, he was an officer with the Guam Police Department for 16 years and a U.S. Army Purple Heart veteran who was awarded Soldier of the Year. Condolences and accolades are pouring in from the governor, speaker, minority leader, and other former legislative colleagues. State funeral services are pending. Former Senator Terlahi was 76. A $10 million now to jumpstart the Land Bank Trust Fund and $2 million every year after. That's what Governor Lulian Guerrero is proposing in a new bill sent to the legislature. Various compensation options are proposed for original landowners whose ancestral property is now held by the government. The options include continue to wait for a change in federal law authorizing a future land return, apply for payment if property was returned or leased to GovGuam for public use, or seek compensation if a land return is not likely in the foreseeable future. Adelut saying the trust has not been regularly funded since it was created in '99. Currently, $14 million is available. The legislation comes in the midst of a dispute with some of the original Eagles Field landowners. They want their property back, but it's preferred site for the governor's new medical campus project. We spoke with project leader Gita's Melanie Mendiola about that.
This land was not on the list of lands to be returned. And even if it was on the list of lands to be returned, we'd still have to amend federal law. Now, all of those things are a very long process, an arduous process. There does not appear to be an appetite right now to do to undertake such an action by Congress. But until that time comes, we still have a situation where we're in desperate need of a new hospital. And so the decision was made to press forward with the medical campus, but along with that, because of these specific owners of the Eagles Field site, the governor said, let's what's going on with Guam Ancestral Lands Commission, and should they not be receiving some kind of compensation?
Well, Mendiola says Eagles Field was not part of the excess land return list, but the Navy subsequently offered it as a site for the medical campus on a long-term lease. Well, the family of Jason Susico is mourning his death as the search for his killer now heads into its second week. His brother, Tomas Calvo, telling KUAM, quote, "As we remember the love and happy memories of Jason's life, all that we ask as a family is for your grace and prayers throughout this difficult time." Susico, a retired member of the Guam National Guard, was found badly decomposed in a jungle area in Jigo off Route 15 near the Raceway Park entrance. His death ruled a homicide after autopsy results showed he suffered from blunt force trauma. Police today have no new leads and continue to ask the community for help. He admitted to escaping from the Department of Corrections prison. Defendant Katie Arison pleaded guilty to felony escape before Judge Vernon Perez in Superior Court today. He was sentenced to 3 years with all but 10 months suspended. It was last April Arison went missing after he got out of the prison's isolation unit undetected. He was captured more than a mile down the road in a jungle area by police. Authorities say he tried to break free from arresting officers. Arison will serve 3 months parole in connection to the escape. He still faces separate criminal charges in local court. He nearly hit another car when running a red light before later being caught by police with drugs. William Hickman is charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, assault on a police officer, and reckless conduct. Court documents state he led police on a brief chase before being spotted tossing something out of his car. Hickman eventually pulled over and allegedly tried to run from officers. Authorities note he was allegedly pushing and shoving the arresting officer, yelling, quote, "I didn't do it." It was during a search police found meth inside a small baggie. And now to a story we first brought you on KUAM Digital. Former Speaker Judy Wampat will have 5 months as acting superintendent of the Guam Department of Education. She will be keeping Superintendent-select Kenneth Swanson's seat warm ahead of his start in July. Despite the temporary appointment, Wampat wants students and parents to know she plans to leave a lasting impression using her more than 25 years of experience in education. Destiny Cruz has more.
Speaker Judy Wampat will have 5 months as acting superintendent of the Guam Department of Education. She will be keeping Superintendent-select Kenneth Swanson's seat warm ahead of his start in July. Despite the temporary appointment, Wampat wants students and parents to know she plans to leave a lasting impression using her more than 25 years of experience in education. It's experience she'll put into action starting this Wednesday. First, she will ask the Guam Education Board their expectations, all while addressing lingering issues with the department's third-party fiduciary agent and fixing the aging school facilities.
There are many other things that need to be done, and one of the biggest would be addressing, of course, the school facilities. That has always been a problem.
addressing schools like Simon Sanchez High School and FB Leon Guerrero Middle, all while mending Guam's other public schools.
I'm not going to do this and then we wait until it's done and then we do FB, then we wait until we're done before we do schools. No. My plan, I know it's a hefty plan, but I want it to all be happening concurrently.
It's hard work that she says will enlist the help of the Guam DOE, different agencies, the legislature, and the governor's office. As for how she'll handle the past budget, WAMPAD says she feels confident in a smooth process and is already looking deeper into it, talking with administrators to find out their needs.
One of the things that I'm concerned about is the fact that we went from, when I was in the system, 36,000 students, and we're basically down to 24,000. And I'm wondering, with that big exodus, of children, then why is things not the same in the budget anymore? So I want to look into that a little bit, deeper and work with, the team, of course, as well, and the school principals to see what we can do to kind of right-size the department so that then whatever monies that we're getting, we would really put it into facilities.
These are plans WAMPAD hopes to see to the end, promising her full cooperation with Kenneth Swanson as he fills the superintendent role in July. Meantime, the GEB also approved Dr. Swanson's $170,000 contract, which now awaits approval from the AG and Adelup. Destiny Cruz, KUAM News.
Thanks, Destiny. And just as we were coming on the air, the Joint Information Center confirming now the 416th COVID-19 related death of the year. It was a 34-year-old man who was reporting to the Guam Memorial Hospital back on January 13th. He suffered the illness along with having underlying health conditions and had no record of a vaccination after testing positive that same day. We can find out more on that story on KUAM.com. Well, for more news, just keep it right here. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
New year, new you, new adventures. How about a new Jeep to go along with it? It is the Start Something New sales event happening now at Cars Plus. Experience a new level of freedom and adventure in the new Jeep Gladiator. Or how about the all-new legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee L? The most awarded SUV ever now features a fresh interior design and 3 rows of seating. Call us at 671-477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved online today.
What you need to know from the Northern Marianas. Follow KUAM CNMI on Instagram for the latest regional headlines.
Welcome back to Primetime. UOG students are taking part in a national coral reef monitoring program survey. Starting today, some household residents can expect surveyors to knock on your door. Mitsuki Hirayama has more on what the survey will entail and why it's important.
How much do you know about coral reefs? The National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration is partnering with the University of Guam to find out just that. NOAA Management Liaison Maria Aoyang tells us what households can expect.
One of the things that we're really looking to do in this survey is to find out how Guam residents and people throughout the United States interact with coral reefs, and also to find out if they're benefiting from the coral reefs.
Part of the National Coral Reef Monitoring Program, their survey aims to improve coral reef conservation programs at local, regional, and national levels.
There was something that was very specific about what people perceived about wildfires, and I know that that's kind of helped the Department of Agriculture figure out how they want to change their outreach about wildfires.
A concrete action as a result of the first survey in 2016. Aoyang says researchers found out that fewer than half of Guam residents knew that wildfires, which contribute to sediment runoff, threaten coral reef health. The Guam Department of Agriculture's Division of Forestry and Soil Resources has since added this information to public service announcements.
So one of the things that we can do with the results from the survey, NOAA and also Government of Guam Natural Resource Agencies, they can figure out how to improve coral reef conditions and also can make sure that they continue to provide the benefits.
And now, on its second cycle, the surveyors going door to door, village to village for these next few months are UOG students.
Students are going to be trained to actually recruit participants for the survey. They're actually going to be implementing the survey with participants, doing data collection, doing data analysis.
These Tritons taking to the field, gaining real-world research experience, plus bringing cultural competency to the table.
One of the great things about UOG students is that some of them are bilingual, so they can help offer the survey in other languages.
Household residents will be randomly selected to participate in a 20-minute survey offered in English, Chamorro, Chukis, and Korean. The data collection is expected to end this July with a goal of 740 participants. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
By CNMI Delegate Gregorio Sablan in U.S. Congress seeks to offer 1,600 long-term foreign workers Commonwealth-only permanent status so they can remain living on island. This is for those living in the Northern Marianas since 2015. Sablan noting that the number of people living in the CNMI dropped by 12.2% in the past decade. The outcome resulting in lower tax revenues for the government and less customers for local businesses. The CNMI population in 2010 was some 53,000, the latest U.S. census showing it's now around 47,000. Sablan saying his legislation fits into the larger goal of strengthening America's position in the region with China's growing influence. The Guam National Guard expands its footprint in the Marianas. Over the weekend, officials adopted a park on Saipan, all to give back to the community. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia reports.
The Guam Army National Guard expanding its footprint in the Marianas, adopting a local park here on Saipan as part of giving back to the community. The Commissioner Joaquin S. Tudela Community Park in San Vicente Village, adopted by the Guam Army National Guard over the weekend. They're now its official stewards in collaboration with the Saipan Mayor and CNMI Youth Affairs Office.
And this is a landmark for the National Guard, for our young generation to see the National Guard. In the future, they can't be enlisted.
The National Guard is the first to take part in the new Mayor's Adopt a Place program, where he encourages the community to take the initiative to clean up. It also marked the critical relationship between Guam and the CNMI.
This is a safe place for our children to play, learn, grow, and explore. I see an investment in our future generations, which is really what this day is all about.
The event was also part of a weekend visit to Saipan to recruit more soldiers. More than a dozen soldiers live on Saipan, serving under the Guard.
Better opportunities, newer beginnings for me.
And its two newest members, Jose Quitano and Vincent Titano, took the oath of enlistment at the park, ready to serve and join the project.
This is something that will be beneficial for the community and most especially our kids who are going to grow and watch and be inspired by the things that we do for them.
Tomas Manglotnia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Well, the annual Cope North multinational military exercise set for February 8th to 24th of this year. Air forces have already begun arriving on Guam from Australia, Japan, and the U.S. mainland. That's according to the Pacific Air Forces. The military plan to train in large force employment, agile combat, humanitarian assistance, and disaster relief training. Forces will be training on Guam at Andersen Air Force Base and at the Guam International Airport Authority and at Northwest Field. Training will also take place on Rota, Tinian, Saipan, Yap, and Palau. Approximately 1,000 U.S. airmen, Marines, and sailors will train with another 1,000 service members from participating nations. Now for a look at your world at home. Here's a look out at Tumon Bay. The Guam National Weather Service forecasting Tuesday will be partly cloudy, a 20% chance of rain.
Just seeing your beauty and watching And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich. You'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
You're here to do something wonderful and kind to memorialize my son, but also to spread the message of being kind to your mind. And a beautiful way to be kind to your mind is to join with others. There's over 500 people down here registering and ready to walk, run, and smile.
A year ago, this was the last day of Ash's life. He was a joyful and happy person who made a terrible mistake because of what was happening in his mind, and he didn't share his thoughts. What we want to learn from this is that nobody's alone. You are loved. Please share your thoughts and emotions with others if you're struggling. And reach out to those who are.
I'm so grateful to everybody, and I know that they empathize and understand, you know, my situation as a mother having lost her son, because there's so many people on this island that lose their loved ones to suicide, and we just don't want it to happen anymore.
On your mark, get set, go! Be kind to your mind!
I know he's here. I know that he wants us all to be happy. He wants us all to learn, you know, suicide is not a solution. The solution is to reach out to other people and let them help you. And I know that he's here in spirit. We love him, and I think that he loves us too.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me.
Wherever
life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Hey, you want to order some Taco Bell?
Two grilled chicken burritos, two bold flavors. Order on the app, only at Taco Bell.
Finally tonight, your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Happy birthday on this conference championship game for you football fans. And we hope Therese Iglesias was watching the game today. But if not, that's totally cool because today is Therese's birthday and you get love from your husband, Ricky, the kids, family, and friends. Rose Moffness, happy birthday to our mom. Rose love her kids, family, friends, the Tatua Hula Fitness. I actually saw them this weekend and they're really, really awesome. Tatua Hula Fitness. Shout out to you guys, as well as the Bollywood Babes. Another Therese Rose Paulino Iglesias. Is this the same Therese Iglesias? Well, you're wishing you the happiest of birthdays. Love your family who loves you unconditionally. Twice as nice. And Roosevelt Marie Bamba Moffness, happy birthday coming from Bali Babies Dance Group, as well as your friends. And belated birthday wishes going out to Bonita Jade DeGracia Tyron, who was born on the 25th. Happy birthday number 16, and no matter how old you become, you'll always be mommy's baby. Who guides a how from mommy. Megan Cruz, born on the 27th, happy birthday, and we love you, says the fams. And Robin Cruz, same shout out, born on the 29th, happy birthday, and we love you. The fams are very, very proud of you.
And that's your primetime show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nick Delgado. Stay safe and good night.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by
Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Hello everybody. We are KUAM and we are coming to you on KUAM TV 8, not KUAM TV 11, where the Chiefs are currently leading the Bengals right now by the score of 13-3. Hang out with us. This show is much more hard-hitting. Well, maybe not than NFL, but good stuff here too. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We got a good show for you today. So let's go.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the fresh Garden Bar.
All right, later on in the show, we are going to take you up north as the Guam National Guard was adopting a place to maintain in Saipan. Also, we're going to tell you about the very latest happenings with the Guam Conservatory of Arts and teach you about performance art and how it benefits you for life. Later, we'll hit you with another round of news bites, and we are going to take a look at your island weather forecast for the week, why it has been so hot, and what happened to the breeze. Breezy last week, not so much over the weekend. All right, but first, the new head of the government of Guam's largest agency agreed to a contract, including a $170,000 salary, plus the cost for his moving expenses to the island from the Peach State, from Georgia. The Guam Education Board approved the contract for DOE Superintendent Select Dr. Kenneth Swanson. You were introduced to him last week during a meeting held at Tidzin on Friday. It now heads to the AG, then to the governor for final approval. Dr. Swanson could begin his new position if approved in July. The board also unanimously voted to have Dr. Judy Wanpat serve as acting superintendent until the new hire arrives on island. Dr. Wanpat, who ran for Guam delegate in the last election, was also a teacher, a school counselor, and a vice principal for a 11-year-old Jason Salas in Guam's public school for 25 years. The board voted on the temporary leadership as the 30-day appointment of Frank Cooper Nurse is set to expire soon. Shout out to Frank. He's a good guy, too. Protests continued nationwide following the release of video showing the gruesome beating of Tyre Nichols. Here is the very latest. Now, if you want to check that out, of course, go online, cbs.com. All right, we are going to go now live to the CNMI, where Tomas Mangoni is stationed in Saipan, as the Guam Army National Guard did adopt a place to maintain on CNMI. Here is the very latest from Tomas. Let's go about 100 miles up north. Tomas, what can you tell us about what our friends in uniform did for the community up there.
Jason, it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day here on Saipan. We are at the Commissioner Joaquin S. Tudela Community Park in San Vicente Village. This is the first place under new Saipan Mayor R.B. Camacho's Adopt a Place program. And one of the first community organizations, the Guam Army National Guard, is adopting this place, which means they will be maintaining the park here in San Vicente on a quarterly basis in collaboration with the Sinamay Youth Affairs Office. Over the weekend, we got a chance to attend the ribbon-cutting ceremony to unveil this new partnership, in which also the Adjutant General for the Guam National Guard, Major General Esther Agagi, offered a few words on what this new partnership means between Guam and the CNMI. Take a listen.
Our past has taught us some very painful lessons. Together, Guam and the CNMI have endured these lessons in different ways, from surviving wars and occupations to weathering major storms and economic hardships. But the more we reflect and learn about the struggles of our past, the more we understand that now, more than ever, we must work to stand together in unity and face the challenges of the future together. And because we are all the people of the Marianas, we are better and stronger together. In the Guam National Guard, we live to serve. And whether the call for duty comes from our nation, our island, or our neighboring islands, we boldly respond with our motto, always ready, always there. Masaya ngayon zan manu.
And so, Jason, the Major General was joined with other members of the Guam National Guard who joined you in the hotspot just last week. And we will have more tonight on Primetime with that story, and also including the two enlistees, the latest enlistees, Jose Quitano and Vincent Taitano, who joined the National Guard in an oath of enlistment over the weekend. So we'll have that on Primetime for our full story. For now, I'm Tomas Manglonia, reporting for KUAM News.
And it is thanking our friends in the military that it leads off our News Bite segment, where we tell you everything that is going around the island. Let's get right into it, because congratulations, and very well deserved, are going out to Sergeant Jesse Crisostomo, as well as Second Lieutenant John Conducto from the 487th Field Artillery Regiment. They graduated from the Uniform Police Training Program at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Centers in Georgia on January 27th. Well done, gentlemen. Bank Guam Holding Company has announced that Marie Pelkey-Scrow, the VP and Investment Advisor Representative, has been appointed to that role with BG Investment Services. She's earned a Certified Financial Planner certification. It's a subsidiary of Bank Guam Holding Company. Very well done, Marie. The government of Guam has been awarded over $6 million with which to design and construct a 12,000 square foot main facility for Public Health Division of Environmental Health. Well done. The governor received notice of the award this week during her meeting with the Department of the Interior's Assistant Secretary for Insular and International Affairs, Carmen Cantor. Speaking of our beloved governor, Luliang Girl held a swearing-in ceremony for 15 members of the Youth Advisory Council, surrounded by family and friends at the Government House over in Agana Heights. I know that area quite well. I was just there this weekend. The council consists of student leaders from Guam high schools, colleges, and universities. Very well done. All right, please stay tuned, because we are going to talk about the performing arts and what the Guam Conservatory on Arts is doing to benefit your life. Bob Berdalio is back right after this.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
How deep do Pizza Hut's roots run in the islands? Through all the decades, we know what you love. Great taste at an even better price. Like our large 3-topping carry-out pizza for just $13.99. You choose your favorite toppings. meat, vegetables, or any combination that totals 3. Our $13.99 large 3-topping pizza. Order online and carry one out today. Only at Pizza Hut, the island's best.
Get the latest updates and breaking news across the region by following KUAM CNMI on Instagram. Regional correspondent Tomas Maglonia brings what you need to know from the Northern Marianas at the palm of your hand. Full stories, daily updates, and snapshots of the beauty across the Marianas. Follow KUAM CNMI now.
LFG! A monthly love letter to all the amazing things happening on this island we call home.
From adventures to hidden treasures.
To the familiar things we know and love. Love for Guam. It's your monthly ticket to the best Guam has to offer.
So, LFG.
Watch LFG on the last Thursday of every month. Presented by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
KUAM News. Winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Welcome back, my friends, to the hot spot. My friend Bob Bergallo is joining me now on the KUAM couch. He is one of the founding members of the Guam Conservatory of Arts, and they have lined up some really, really cool things for February, not the least of which, Bob, a wonderful ballet program. The deadline is coming up, so if you want to get your young men and women involved in ballet and the various ways that will affect them for the rest of their life, better jump on it soon. So first of all, Hafide, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jason, for having me.
All right, and congratulations again. I remember interviewing you when the Guam Conservatory of Arts was a concept that then became, a tangible facility and, and an academy. And now, you're offering a variety of programs. So let's talk ballet.
All right. Our ballet program, we have various age groups. This February, starting February 6th, we're beginning a program for basically young children ages 5 to 7. It's a 3-day-a-week program. 2 of those days encompass learning ballet technique, form, positioning, posture, learning how to tap and walk to music, which is a big deal in dance.
Synchronize the tempo.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the 3rd day will consist of some sort of creative movement, folk, character, tap, or tumbling, or a combination of all of those. We need the children to enjoy themselves in the process of learning technique. We also have a class for ages 8 to 12-year-olds, and then another class for children above. We will be starting an adult ballet class for all of those people out on Guam who just wanted to learn ballet just as a hobby or as a form of exercise.
Or maybe for previous ballet practitioners to get back into it. They might have taken classes when they were much younger, and now they're like, hey, that was so much fun.
And it's a great form of exercise. People think of going to the gym, people think of running, and while there's nothing wrong with those activities, dance is a little bit more. You are an athlete when you come into a ballet studio.
For sure.
But it's with artistry, it's with music, it's with interpretation, so all those added benefits. And just hearing good music does something to the human spirit. So I encourage everyone to go to our website and look for our current offerings. In addition to the dance, I have to mention that we do offer private music instruction. Currently we're offering classes in private classes in piano, violin group, cello. We have flute, clarinet, oboe, French horn, and I hope I'm not forgetting any others.
You got an entire symphony going on down there.
And we will be having our first music recital come April 1st. That's on a Saturday, yeah.
Okay, that is not an April Fool's joke. There will be a proper recital.
Yeah, and that's a Saturday.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. Yeah. Talking about ballet again, if I may use an analogy, Bob, because I grew up playing guitar, right, and I wanted to rock. And I remember people were telling me, my dad, my uncles, and they were like, okay, I know the kind of music you're listening to in the 80s and everything, Iron Maiden's cool and everything, but it would behoove you if you learned the blues and if you kind of got into jazz too. And I was just young and idiotic, and I was like, I'm not going to learn all that stuff. I got back into it retroactively when I was in high school and college because I realized how fundamental that is and how much I was actually missing and how much it contributed to my own better playing and everything.
Certainly.
So a lot of the kids who want to do, hip hop dance or they want to do more like fusion style and everything like that, ballet is the source of much of that, right?
Absolutely. Ballet is the foundation for any dance form. In ballet, you learn the mechanics of the body. You learn how to make good lines. You focus on movement quality. That's why if you go to any of these major dance companies, or I'm sorry, dance competitions, when you look at the winners of the lyrical competition or the contemporary, these dancers all have ballet background.
Mm-hmm.
As well as if you want to become a professional dancer of any kind, say you want to dance on Broadway. All of those Broadway dancers take ballet class every single morning.
Oh yeah.
If you want to become a modern dancer, all of those modern dancers take ballet.
When you audition, that's one of the first things they look at. It's like, you know, have you mastered movement and position and form?
Yeah. So even though a child may not want to become a ballet dancer as their end goal, learning the technique will give you absolute advantage, mastery over your body. And that's what Guam Conservatory of Arts was founded for. We wanted to give that experience to our youth on Guam. That if any of the youth on Guam wanted to become a professional dancer, you have to begin ballet, and you have to begin it at an early age. Mm-hmm. When the body is young, it's more pliable, it's more forgiving, right? You fall, you can get up. At my age, if I fall, I'm concerned if I break a hip, or etc.
Oh, my knees talk to me every day, Bob.
But if you're
I have conversations with my knees.
You can mold the body, and which is very, very important in dance.
Okay, so let's talk about because again, like when I was a young wannabe musician and everything like that, I gravitated more towards what I heard on the radio and what I saw on MTV and contemporary forms. How do you as a practitioner actually get young people interested in these not just the mechanics, but like the idea and the fact that these are classical forms, a lot of this you probably haven't been exposed to and everything like that, but this is really, really going to help you, and it can be fun, and it's very the challenge is part of the fun too.
Jason, that's a very good question, because it is a kind of a hard sell to make. If we watch mass media and if we're just glued to what's on TikTok, it will be more contemporary-based dance forms. Yeah. So my job as an instructor is to let them fall in love with the form of it. When they're taught how to make beautiful lines with their body, they're more encouraged, and also they start to believe I can make beautiful lines with my body. They see the difference between, a position is called arabesque if you have the leg up in the back. How you point the foot in the back finishes the line.
Is that third position? Or is that
no, it's arabesque.
Okay, I know, first position, second position, you can tell. I need to take a class.
There's feet positions and hand positions, yeah. But my young kids, predominantly these children ages 8 to 11, they are astounding me. They are part of a 3-day-a-week program, and their classes are an hour and a half. And you would think, oh my gosh, ballet, they would just be bored out of their minds. And it's not true. They're coming in, they're learning the form, they're seeing themselves in the mirror, create line, their posture is better, they're listening to music. And I don't only teach the technique, you have to interpret the music. You have to use your eyes. Technique is simply a means to tell a story.
They're also broadening their worldview, I would assume, Bob, because they're like, okay, not everything is, what I see on TikTok. And youngsters, if ballet isn't showing up on your For You page all the time and everything like that, just search for it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on TikTok and on Instagram. Yeah,
there is plenty.
And it's wonderful. And I would assume, too, that these young Guamanians also go home to, like, their parents and their younger olders and brothers, or the ninas and nenas, and like, hey, look at what I learned and look at what I can do.
Yes, it is word of mouth, and so our enrollment is slow, but it is steady. And I think that once I have my first crop of dancers who can be presented, people will start to see the value of this type of program. I did want to say, in terms of longevity into the future, into adulthood, this is just anecdotal, but I feel from my own experience and others that if you begin dance at an early age, you're more likely to stay physically active your entire life. And this is different from sports. Let's say if you were a football player, you're going to stop that at a certain time. You're just going to get tired of being hit. But you can take adult classes. I mean, predominantly in the States or everywhere else where there are adult ballet classes, you can continue it simply as like a form of, instead of going to the gym. So you're also more mindful of pushing your body to the extreme. and that becomes a cycle in your life so that you want to keep it up.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we're running out of time, Bob, but please tell everybody how they can register, because again, the deadline is coming up.
So to register for any of our classes, you can go to guamconservatory.org and you'll see our offering of our ballet classes, music classes, and just fill out the contact sheet at the bottom and we will contact you back immediately.
Most excellent.
Okay.
Bob is doing wonderful things. And remember, Guam does have a connection to ballet because Mirel Baryshnikov did come out to Guam. He visited our little island, and that was awesome. Okay, Bob, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Support the arts, everybody, because we do here on the show, and we will talk about what's going on with Mother Nature when we come back.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
What's the move?
I can't make that amount work right now.
Mom,
what is it?
Can I get new basketball shoes?
We'll see.
Can I please have $20 for my field trip?
I don't know.
Can I go to my friend's house after school?
Anak, hindi pwede.
We're all trying our best to make ends meet. The governor's childcare programs are helping businesses and working families care for Guam's kids. This ad is paid for with funds administered by the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Visit guamchildcare.com to apply today.
Catch KUAM News Hotspot, a multi-platform news program broadcasting and streaming at 11 a.m. on KUAM TV8 Tuesdays through Fridays, with rebroadcasting at 3:30 p.m., as well as live streaming globally on our Facebook Live and YouTube digital platforms. Jason Solis features a blend of local, national, and regional news, plus lifestyle and entertainment features and extended interviews with top newsmakers.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
It's a tradition that began almost 70 years ago. A trusted legacy, a voice, an advocate, a resource for news you need to know.
Through the years, the headlines have changed, as many of those who have graced the screens sat behind and in front of the cameras and come into your homes every night.
But our commitment to keeping you informed, engaged, and to represent the diverse voices in our community has never wavered.
We are your news leader on every platform and every device. We've grown with the community to reflect the changing times.
We are KUAM News, the voice of the Marianas.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam On Demand.
I was asking Landon Aidlet, the chief forecaster over there at the National Weather Service, our friends in Tidzin, if he ever took ballet, you know, with Bob's program. He said he did not, because of course he went to NC State, but he has made quite the name for himself in music, and he is actually joining us right now by way of the KUAM News Zoom room to make good music and talk about what is going on with the weather, because it was really, really hot this weekend, and you know, I mean, hot, Guam's hot anyway. It might be Guam is hot, like a certain senator once sang. But Landon, half a day and not so much wind or breeze to speak of this past weekend. So was that expected?
It was expected, and it was a great day to be working on your roof. And did I get my roof painted? Absolutely not, because there are just a few showers in the places I didn't want them to happen, but I did more power washing and I got some sun, so that was good. But yeah, we were looking at that little bit of a lull in the weather conditions and the winds that we had last week, and it was beautifully dry. We've had just over a quarter an inch of rain over the last 12 days. So that's in stark contrast to the first 12 days of the month of January. So it's been We've been nickel and diming it literally every day since the start of the halfway point of the month with rainfall, and it's going to be dry at least for the next 1 to 2 weeks. So nothing much to speak of. And yes, I never took ballet. Music was my thing, but I almost took ballroom dancing back when I went back to school for another degree. I ended up dropping out after the first semester to come back over to the Pacific to take on a meteorology career. So
well, tell you
my
what, like since you dropped out of your ballroom dancing class at North Carolina State University, go Wolfpack, by the way. I will let you lead as you tell us what we can expect for the forecast for this week.
I will take the lead, and let me turn my camera around right quick. So again, always go to weather.gov/GUM for the latest, most up-to-date weather information, and that's found on our webpage. And some of the tools to the trade, of course, click on forecast right here in the middle and go down to public marine aviation to find all the appropriate forecasts for your interests. But this is our watch, warning, and hazard box. And right now, we only have a rip current statement in effect for a high risk of rip currents. That is ongoing along east-facing reefs. That's everywhere down from Retivian all the way down the east side, Paget Cave, Marlborough Cave, all the way down to Pago Bay, Inaraha, and Jeff's Parrots Cove, First Beach. So the rip current risk is high because we still have that large and ongoing trade wind swell that's battering our eastern shores as it does this time of the year. So watch out if you're on the east side. When in doubt, don't go out. This is the back door to finding all the latest products. So find this text product selector just below the watch warning advisory box. Click on that and you see all the products that have been issued in numerical order by time. So this is a back door to find all the products. If you don't know what you're looking for, and that's for all of Guam, CNMI, and Micronesia, followed by radar and satellite information. But we're going to change pace here. We're going to go right over to the satellite imagery. And of course, you see a lot of showers and thunderstorms on the satellite. This is Kapinga Marangi. This is not for Guam, but this is a great news for the folks in far southern Pohnpei State, where they've been in persistent severe drought for quite a while now, upwards of a half year, I believe. So this is much needed rainfall down there. More showers farther to the north across Chuuk and Pohnpei states. But for our area, very dry. We had a weak surface trough push through that is now leaving our area to the west, moving away from us with more dry air ahead of us. And so nothing to speak of there, but we did have about a quarter an inch of rain overnight with about 1500s before midnight and another dime after midnight this morning. That's all clearing out, and the radar is beautifully clear at the moment. Just some spotty showers, very few showers out there. If you're lucky enough to get one of these showers, it's going to hit you for about a minute, get things wet, and then move right off. But we're seeing all the stuff really dry out at the moment. But elsewhere on the satellite, nothing to speak of. We do have another shear line sitting up just north of us, and it looks pretty foreboding right now. But this is not expected to drop all the way down to Guam and the CMI. It's going to stay to our north, but those strong winds packing up there, it will maintain a north swell over the coming days. So we still have a northwest swell coming down into the Agana Boat Basin area, the East Agana Bay and Tumon Bay. So watch out up in those areas as well. Even though we have no advisories in effect for surf, those waves are still elevated across there. But the winds will be picking up around Tuesday night, Wednesday. We have a tighter gradient coming through across the region. So when you have the tighter pressure gradients, the winds increase across the region. We're going to be seeing that Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, with winds becoming breezy, with probably seasoned surfing building to near advisory levels for small craft across the coastal waters of Guam and the CNMI around midweek, and persisting toward the end of the week, with probably maintaining a high risk of rip currents, especially along east-facing reefs everywhere from Telefofo northward to Anderson Air Force Base. So watch out there later in the week. 10-day forecast models indicate less than an inch of rain. So really over the next 2 weeks, going to be maintaining that dry season pattern, dry and breezy. So nothing too exciting, but that will only increase our wildfire threat in the coming weeks and months as we go into the peak dry season, which driest month again is the month of March. So watch out for that as those conditions evolve in the next couple months.
Man, it is never a boring day
for you and your colleagues over at the NWS, because you can say, okay, well, it was really, really rainy and we set a all-time record for rainiest January just 2 weeks in, and then we've had none of that. But now, of course, now we got to watch out and make sure that we don't get grass fires or things don't spark up and everything. But let me ask you, in the history of Guam, because you're not only a student of history, you're a practitioner of science, obviously, but is one of the interesting things and one of the constant challenges and what makes it always fun and refreshing about tracking weather on Guam is that, we really can't go too many days without the weather changing dramatically. It's not like we have 100 straight days of heat, no wind. It's always changing.
Yeah, it's always changing. So you have these little minor variations. When I lived in Kwajalein, if you had a degree difference of 2 degrees from one day to the next, you felt it because it was that stable. And I think we kept record of thunderstorm days in Kwajalein. That means every day that you heard thunder or saw lightning. And so we averaged about 11 thunderstorm days a year. And I'm not sure what we have here, but it's significantly more than that here on Guam because of a number of factors. But it's always changing here, and you have to look at things on the 3 to 5 to 7 day range, but also the multi-week range and then the multi-month range, because things do change. We do have seasons, the wet and the dry season, but also the drought. And so if you have a couple weeks of persistent dry conditions, those grass fires, they do become more of an issue, especially when you have 2 or 3 months prolonged dry conditions. And so that's our dry season, and we are coming up on that. And just for the record, our record rainfall for yesterday was set back in 2014. We had nearly 5 inches of rain here at the office, and that was the record for the day for January 29th. And so I cannot remember what weather event that was back in 2014, but it was either a tropical cyclone of some sort or one of those shear line situations where the rain just batters in on one isolated area. And so that can happen with these shear lines. They can drop significant amounts of rainfall, and that's what we saw earlier this month.
All right. Well, if it's going to be hot and mildly, like hardly any wind and everything like that, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, not only Landa, but everybody watching us right now. Perfect opportunity to petition your boss to let you wear shorts when you come into the office. If you're